Okay, let's dive right in. Something really big just happened in the world of Bitcoin. And trust me, it's not just another day of price charts going up or down. We've just crossed a major threshold, a real point of no return that changes the entire game. We're talking about the mining of the 20 millionth Bitcoin. And this, well, this isn't just a number. It's the beginning of a whole new era. You see this quote? This is what everyone is saying, and it just perfectly captures how serious this moment is. You know, the scarcity that Bitcoin was always theoretically built on? Well, it's not theory anymore. It's a very real, very practical situation now. So what does that actually mean for all of us? Let's break it down. To really get our heads around this massive shift, we've got to look at the data. The numbers behind this milestone tell a pretty fascinating story about where Bitcoin has been and, more importantly, where it's about to go. And here it is, the exact moment it all went down. On March 10th, 2026, coin number 20 million officially came into existence. You could say this was the moment the final countdown truly began. And this chart, wow, it really puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? Look at that. Over 95% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist is already out there. That tiny little sliver that's left, that's it. That's all that's left for the entire world to get its hands on for the next 100+ years. What's really wild here is the speed of it all. So getting the first 10 million coins took about 4 years. The next 9 million, that took almost a decade. But that single million from 19 to 20, that took nearly 4 years all by itself. Every single coin is getting harder and harder to find. So let's just be crystal clear about what this means. Out of a total hard cap of 21 million, we are now down to the final million. Forever. There are no do-overs, no new supply injections, just one final finite million coins. That's the whole shebang. And get this, that last million coins, it's projected to take another 114 years to fully mine. I mean, think about that for a second. It took just over 17 years to get the first 20 million. It's going to take more than a century to get that last million. That is programmed scarcity right there in action. But wait, the story actually gets even crazier. Just when we're all focused on that 1 million coins left to mine, we have to talk about the millions that are already gone, permanently. This is a massive plot twist that makes the real supply even smaller than you can imagine. So experts estimate that somewhere between 3 and 4 million Bitcoin are just inaccessible, forever. They exist on the blockchain, sure, but they can never be moved or spent. They've effectively been erased from the available supply. So how does something like this even happen? Well, the most famous example is Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. His stash of about 1.1 million coins has never, ever moved. Then you add in all the horror stories we've heard over the years, forgotten passwords, people who threw out hard drives, you name it. So what this all means is the real effective supply isn't 20 million. It's probably closer to 16 or 17 million. This incredible tightening of the supply means that for the very first time, Bitcoin is provably harder money than gold. Its inflation rate, the rate of new supply coming online, is just 0.83%. Gold is always over 1%. And after the next halving in 2028, which cuts the new supply in half again, Bitcoin's inflation rate will drop even lower. This isn't a guess, it's just math. Okay, so we've established that the supply is shrinking and it's incredibly tight. Now, let's flip over to the other side of the equation, demand. With so few coins left, who exactly is buying them? This is where we start to see a completely new phase of this game begin. Just take a look at these numbers. We're not talking about individual investors anymore. We've got huge corporations like MicroStrategy holding over 760,000 Bitcoin. Financial giants like BlackRock are soaking up hundreds of thousands for their new ETFs. And get this, even governments are in on the action. The US government has a huge stash of seized coins, and countries like El Salvador are actively buying. What this creates is a massive supply shock. See, only about 450 new Bitcoin are mined every single day, but the demand from places like those new Wall Street ETFs is swallowing that new supply up, and then some, every single day. The competition for every new coin is getting absolutely fierce. So, with all these huge players making their moves, what does this whole global picture of digital scarcity actually mean for the average person? For you? Let's bring this down to a much more personal scale. Right now, there are over 8.2 billion people on this planet. Let's just start with that number, a huge global population. And that massive population is competing for this, a maximum final supply of just 21 million Bitcoin. The contrast between these two numbers,
Well, it tells you the entire story, doesn't it? When you actually do the math, the reality is just stark. A maximum of 0.27% of the world's population can ever own one whole Bitcoin. And that's not even counting the millions of lost coins or the giant stacks held by institutions. Owning just one full coin puts you in an unbelievably small sliver of the global population.
Now, a question I hear all the time is, okay, but what happens after 2040 when the last coin is mined? How does the network stay secure? The thing is, the system was designed for this from day one. Right now, miners get paid with brand new Bitcoin. In the future, they'll be paid entirely with the transaction fees from people using the network. The security model just transitions.
So this is where we're at. We have a mathematically proven shrinking supply, we have millions of coins that are gone for good, and we have the most powerful institutions and governments in the world aggressively buying up what's left. The era of scarcity isn't coming, it's here. And that leaves us all with the ultimate question. In a world like that, what on earth will one piece of this absolutely finite asset be worth?
Currency, crypto, gold, plus trending news and expert articles. All free at Convertz.app. Hit like and subscribe.